the program director of GBO was
next person.
My name is Oseki Ifilo.
You're welcome.
I'm the coordinator of UK branch of GBO. GBO Akube.
Abokia. Next person.
I am Victor Sazua, the media director.
Okay. You are welcome.
GBO Akube.
Where's it? GBO. GBO. Dr. Minosa Courage, the project director, GBO. Okay, we'll log in as you log in as Egbo, is it? Yes, that's my name. Egbo. Okay, that's fine. That's my sorry. That's fine. Okay. Okay, and the next person, normally introduced?
GBO Alarodao, GBO Akube, then I met the cultural ambassador.
Oh, both here, madam.
Yeah, madam. No.
Up GBO. Akube. Up GBO. Alarodao. Beno Eda Faluji Osunde, the talent coordinator.
Domo.
I
think I've almost renamed everyone, but only one person nobody can. Yeah, go on.
I'm sorry, I've been there. I'm a engineer. I got the IO. Give you EU ambassador. Where Wabe the guy, we give a
ambassador.
Next person, please.
That would be okay.
There's still two more.
Can you people hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I greet everyone. It was my FFF. I'm very, very happy that at least for the first time we have a good number of members here in this Zoom meeting. And I want to say I'm very happy to join the meeting, even though I already have 2 other meetings and 1 more to join. I will do my best to try to be here for some time. I can be able to share with the group. My name is Uwagboy Ogeva, the visionary and the initiator of Great Mini Origin Diaspora Organization. So I want to, and at the same time, the secretary of GBO. So I want to thank you all for coming to the meeting. And Wayawesi, GBO Akube, GBO Alarodao.
Okay, there were not maybe introduce the guy. There's still one person that's still hearing.
Wow. Melo, Mrs. Juliet Omoikudu, alias Mama Island.
Okay.
I'm speaking from Dublin. I'm very happy to see everybody on the Zoom meeting today. I pray to God Almighty that whatever we are going to discuss today, peace will reign, unity will reign in the mighty name of Jesus. And Akube Alarodao, Akube
GBO. Well, yeah, wait. I think I've managed to change the name, so it will appear now that all the names are are reflecting. So that's what I was doing. The agenda is quite short, quite brief, and hopefully, my team concluded that if there are other issues, on my screen, the first item I have on the agenda was to do with the constitutional roles and official titles of members.
this became necessary for us to look at because in any organization area, it's good that we address ourselves appropriately. Few people have called me, they've expressed concern, whereas some of us may not take some of these things very seriously. Some of us might just gloss over it or marry the matter. But some people have expressed concern that we are not properly addressed. There are some titles that people are assigning to their names, which is not within our constitution. So maybe that I've go tell you privately that before I came in, became very active on the platform. Those some of those issues I carry. If that is the case, then if all members feel that that was what was agreed, then we can just move on to the next agenda. I can wait this time. For example, unfortunately, one of the person who raised the issue is no longer with us now. I'm hoping maybe with time we'll be able to get him back. It's one of our brother in America. He called me on several occasions that he's not happy with the way things are. That he pay subscription only away because he understand the group, whether they by a group of people or that where one or two persons, particularly our is laying claim to the group, and the title no was reactive the way like I think one or two other persons called me, and I just thought at this onset because the marry the group nana is way, so that going forward my no you I know that I asked all of us the constitutional argument. I think it's the Article 5B. Now the different title or whatever. So that was one of the reasons I called a meeting. Besides, there was also an article in our Honorable General Secretary Beladiam shortly before I presented this emergency meeting. There were a lot of things not going to carry that article. Whereas it's good to acknowledge when a GBO is where, but me only EC mukbare whether the way we are going, if there's anything we can amend, if we are all happy with the way it is, we can move on with it. So that's what I'm going to do, because I now have a name and the names are in order. I'll just call each and every one here now contribute to the discussion very briefly. Then I'll move on video. Unless there's anybody who no go on, then I think raise your ball. I think we're having a raise your ball. You tap on your name, you just raise your hand. That's it. Okay, don't send it to raise your ball. Go on. Don't send it to go on.
What head is up here?
Is that Don Senator?
He just disappeared.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, go on.
That was GBO.
Akugbe.
GBO.
Akugbe.
A topic our able president is present now. In my time, giving way back now. First of all, when the group are coming back here, a long process, you know. Understand? A very, very long process. And I don't believe we'll go back to that era again. We should be specific. Like me, it goes straight to issues. If you are specifying where our able secretary is the person who initiated or that name to his name, and if we are granting it to him or we are not granting it to him, we should just say it. Because there is no other person may anybody not hear my president in Guacan apart from our able Secretary General, and that is the reason this meeting is being called. From the point my able Secretary General raised from his article or letter not presented to the EC, fine. The job well done. In fact, still know he has really been doing well. Right from the area, from the Facebook. I'll be following him on our radio group. So before that, shift to this WhatsApp and GBO to what is called GBO. Before I joined this GBO, the National Orator, I was assigned with 2 other persons, 3-man committee to settle that issue. So GBO now came up, GBD now came up. So 2 parties divided from this GBN. So before I joined the GBO, I know I categorically talked to my brother, Mr. Ogiva, brother, my coming to GBO, so I don't want to be in GBD or GBO anymore. Either GBN or no other party, before now find out GBN cannot be registered. So, and I ask him, Mr. Ogiva, please, I hope it will not soon in this GBN. You may have dissolved to GBO, GBD, and will not happen again GBO. He promised me, no, such thing will never happen. I will keep it. And I believe we all respect ourselves as one body, where there are no platform group now, because the same thing, all divided this GBN now. This one was claiming owner of the group, the other was claiming to be the owner of the group, just as it's going on in GBO now. All divided around the main GBO. He promised me, Mr. Gay, such thing will never happen. And I said, okay, you can have me. Honor the radio. So that's how we started. Along the life, before you came in as the president, Mr. Gay had been sitting where is the founder, the origin of GBO, while the former vice chairman, who is now the ambassador, Engineer Wadaye, very they go kind of way. Natana, before we not came up with that name GBO, we all originated that name GBO because different names were coming up before another stick to GBO. So if you are claiming ownership of the GBO, I want to get the name is wrong. So we now find out where really, I don't think in Nigeria, anyone move their sister and register a group now. So the people don't register this group. How to view the names like that. Some of them, they are no more in this group anymore. So we are not thinking, well, yes, I don't register group, will not still remain as the founder of this GBO. So we stick to that ground. The fact, as I've already said, just like I said about these other 2 brothers, where we debate by man and Mr. Binosa and Mr. Oshitoli. The same thing I will still talk about my able Secretary General. He has really done well. He has really done well. I think I would have preferred where all to the last another way I recognize the aim and award the next person from the EC instead of feel demanding it. You understand? It's like, first of all, let's give him social title. Instead of him to fall down and relax, okay, because of a racial, no way we all tried it. If I had the ticket, you get the very conference. You go down the way, you go down the way, affiliate that time. Everybody, we are trying one way or the other. Now make sure we people now go there. What is the essence? Now build the state. That is just why we are here. How do we build that state? How do we take everything here in Europe or in America down to a state? That is our dream. And that is why we are all here. So I think we should have wait where I recognize the aid before that day will not come to him. Okay, we now recognize the aid. Any time we not see any shape, we all have different ideas. Yeah, we all have different ideas. He has really tried. So to recognize it should come from the EC in general. I don't know.
On my way to let me just see. Mr. Famous.
Well, excuse please. Already 7 o'clock. Well, I will here in case like already.
Mr. Famous, Rio with whom? Famous? Famous, who you with whom? Go on.
I think his microphone is muted.
Okay. I'm just trying to look for. He's the only one that's raised up. Anybody else wants to? Let me.
But my president, I think I would have suggested General Adaye Buan before paying for the platform.
Okay, Miss Engineer, your turn, sir.
Anyway, it's just a little addition to what Don Senator said. As a matter of fact, I was in GBM. That was prior to the formation of GBU. When over the time, the ownership issue was the problem that divided that organization GBM, and that became a prerequisite to the formation of this GBU. In the sense that when we saw that was what caused the GBM to collapse. So many of us vowed that kind of a thing should not exist anymore. And in order to prevent it, we all agreed, because it was raised there that it was categorically said that there shall be no single owner of GBU. And that was repeated by the then president continuously, and there was no objection to that. So, and as a matter of fact, when the secretary, after we inaugurated this thing, and the secretary wrote that it was the founder at a point in time, the then president wrote to counter that. You see, we wrote simultaneously. I didn't know, as soon as I saw it, I wrote to counter. Then I was writing, the then president was also writing, and then something fell almost at the same time on the floor, countering that notion of a single founder. So, as he said, we actually said there was no single founder before we ever started. And we also agreed there that everybody who paid for the registration and who attended that registration were going to be the people in the board of trustees. That was what we agreed on. And then, for the name, it's also a record that I brought out 3 names. Every other person brought out their names, but out of the 3 names that I presented, one of them, which is now GBU, was the one that was recognized, and it is the one that is still its name to date. So that was why I told the secretary then that if you are going to say you are the founder, then let the history be straight. That is no matter how you go, let the history be straight. Let the person who originated the name, his name should be reflected. Anyway, I'm not after the name, my name is reflecting there. What I'm after is that whatever we agreed on before we started should stand. So that is my take here. Thank you very much. It's brief. Thank you.
Madam Juliet, can you unmute yourself and contribute? Raise a ball.
Now, my president, what do I do?
You type your name on the participants. Why type anywhere? One show ball, but you might have show ball. What you
Okay. I've seen it now. All right. Okay. Wait.
My president, sorry, I be on okay, now we go. Never yet one, almost now, what I want to ask here, any other person, normal president that very time, you are organizing or raising meeting now, I will want he or she to talk. No, let's say, then I will say, like, myself, I was not there. So now we now look at the now when I just said that initiator and founder.
Okay.
Is there no doubt or any member of us? No, it don't feel it so there and at the because they are saying almost the same thing.
Yes. I think somebody like Madam Okao and Victor we have seen were in that should be among those.
Yeah, let them see everything that we have favor.
Yeah.
So it's not good to be quiet while I will go back. I'm not saying no, that I can't.
Okay. If Sunday, please continue.
Okay. Up GBO.
Akubo.
Up GBO.
Down.
Yes. Wayafe wawese. Wagi debu water.
It's
Senator Wama. Matamawe na atinye. Engineer Aladiaye wawe ma. Matamawe na retai. You see, when the meeting, Nana suggested the very first meeting at Antwerp, when it was coming up, I gave the president that time my reason why I cannot come then, because of my kind of job. So I couldn't attend that very meeting that very day, where the very first inauguration and the name founding and the founder they all came up. And when this idea of our secretary, who has done a great lot for GBO, came up as the originator and founder, I felt where he was just, it's just one of those things. So don't see it as something important. Even when General Gadiaye, spoke about it, that this thing should be addressed, somebody like me personally, I saw it as something that for mine it's not very important. But of recent, where this is they are not to be overlooked at all. Because in all organizations, somebody comes up with somebody, 2 or 3 people comes up to start up something, and then it is not that idea we are still using today. People have gathered their weight of wisdom, their finance, their time, their energy to make sure that this thing continues. So it is not, you see, the idea of one person having a claim over an organization like GBO is unimaginable and is uneducated. I want to say that respect is given to those that really deserve it. Our Honorable Secretary deserves the very good respect. Yes, I told him this thing on privately before. And we know or where I said it, and the history remains there. But it should be patient and wait, and then let people give him that very honor. You don't collect it by force. And it is not only, I have seen so many organizations, I have seen so many offices, past offices. It is not only in the Ogeva's time now we are saying this thing now. I can see our cultural ambassador, that when she's bringing out a poster, that Madam Meg Okao, when she's bringing out a poster, she would add former president of GBO. Now, I've never seen it before in any organization, anyway. So that area should be addressed too. It is not only Ogeva now. And then maybe many more may come up later. So what am I trying to say? We know you were the former president. We know Akadeye was the former vice president, but he has never attributed that to his title anytime he's introducing himself. So these areas are non-educative to me. And again, there are areas where we have failed to look at our capacity as a body and see exactly why we are here. It is not for the name. It is to come together to see that anyway, if you hold a broom, the complete broom, you can't break it. But if you took anyone away, you can break it. So Wagimare Nana as something collectively, something that we have to do together. And it is togetherness. This thing can go on. Otherwise, if one person is going to make a claim as originator, as titling it to his whatever name, I think it becomes a personal thing. So, for the meantime, in the whole year return to that very area, anything, it tell me what we say.
Oh, I say, famous. Are you ready to contribute now? Okay, I don't know, can they hear me? Very loud and clear.
Yes,
okay. So, where they, I just have to make a little contribution. Where the GPO is okay, why you anywhere or a famous Osawa more is the legal advisor of a GPO. Anywhere why I don't know.
Nice to see you.
Anyway, why everywhere I can't about tell you, and say, when Africa, a like to marry them, and Lord, yeah.
It let it go.
Like in my manager, anyway. So, Mama, anyway, association in my GPO is a registered entity. So, every association, Arun Kawi, Nyowa, is a Bamake. Try not resolve it. A GBO company, Nanami shareholder, Nanami director, a GBO association, the aims and objectives. Naya Guale, Naya, if you ever do, Naya make a Mimaya Penny, there will go, if we know ma at the road you do. Or why giving the country genius? Only the funders you can have we and power in Nigeria. Nigeria is for everybody. An association that is registered as an association is not an association ruled by one man. Yet, there are funders who put resources together. Nana do mere way association in that video. Or the video, you cannot take okay by out of it, but so play a very big role. Just like the way other persons have also made contributions right from the time of GBA, okay, to 7. I have known the role that Okeba have played, like just in the little way. Association Arrow Banya, whereas the ENIA is an entity that have a registered trustee. The reason why you have a trustees of association doesn't mean because the trustees are the owner. It means that the trustees are the promoters. They are the persons who represented on behalf of other persons. So the thing of Akawe and this and this and this should be taken out of it. Or the rules will not see the GPO manage a position or Yegena because the next one to feel it beware. I don't know how you initiator, you honor now. The other persons will be scared to invest their money, their resources and their time. Ele Nigeria Yena, Awolowo, Atoni Naoro, I immortalize Nian because of the sacrifice Nian make. Nana maybe Nigeria is survive here now. For here was having a one in Nigeria. Because in Nigeria, Omawa exists for only 60 years. Why I gave a GBO now? He may I in your term, Mr. Ogiva. Mr. Ogiva have several associations he have made contributions on. And his contributions can never be overemphasized as far as GBO is concerned. But if you find I won't buy an association like GBO.
I can remember vividly at the time even when I registered this GBO now. I suggest a name. Even the name itself, GBO, does not even come from Ogeba. It was somebody that even suggests GBO. No, we had to agree. I will not forget to say it was even Ejinara Jaye that even suggested that name that every one of us have to even agree on. I was the one that contacted to register GBA. I made several efforts because of the war movement. A CAC Marikona register at that time. Now I don't know where we so now the best with me now. I'm to move inside the now. I can't suggest a name. Even where Mr. Masha Otumbo, we and some other persons, the first time we even met with them. Now the persons that even contributed for the registration of GBO was not one person. People who believe in the association, who believe in bringing prosperity to Edo by Edo persons in the diaspora, they donated resources. We gather ideas together to make sure where a GBO is in the position of Yevena. So the way Mr. Ogeba have contributed greatly, especially in the WhatsApp group, in the the network, have to do the website and all. Nobody can even say I have not done well. But if somebody wants to take GBO to court, they will take Ogeba to court. They will take the registered trustees of GBO to court. If there's a damages to be paid today, maybe as a result of action caused by GBO, nobody will look for Ogeba. It's part of it. They will take all the trustees because they are held jointly and liable for any action that happen to GBO. If, for instance, my own association, if you have a foundation, in fact, if we have a power, on my way, or my way, can't pay idea, but the way my own GBO are the vision from the one. Now, I have way worldwide, all beneath origin, in diaspora, in Nigeria, everywhere. Let us join our ideas together. We are in the CAC now with the amendment of the Constitution. Even the churches, and I'm here with passport now, or we are working on the area. A government will supervise it. Or I will no matter a government area, general overseer. I will bridge the rules of the government. A rule will be a general overseer. Or my way, a government will do a threat on my way. That's to tell you the nature of what association should be. It's a global association. Only I say, then I pay tax. But I make an account every year, annual return. The association I do well. So that the government should also know that, those people are active. The aims and objective is being carried out. Association cannot be ruled by one man. A company, a business name is an idea that is a conglomerate of how to achieve an aims and objective of a specific person. So that if result, many persons will be scared to invest in GBO, especially as to how to achieve the aims and objectives. Even in law, one man cannot hold an association. Even in law, before now, I don't buy to open a company. I won't buy or to open a business name. They say even a company alone, I won't buy it. Why? Because the legal entity is different from those who are. Hello, Jenania. A GBO can enter a contract in the corporate name. And when anything happens, they will hold the director responsible. They will hold the GBO responsible. Because in the eyes of the law, GBO is a legal entity. It's a human being, artificial being. Which means it's not one particular person. And I a GBO with the bank. I have no right to take Mr. Ogeba to court. I have no right to take one particular to court. Why? Because Mr. Ogeba in the eyes of the law is a separate person from GBO. Because the government has given a human entity, has given a human blood into GBO. So it means that GBO is an association of several persons. That idea to be given a definitive barrier, it cannot survive in the test of time. Why was anyone?
Very much. Junior, your thoughts?
No, every the only time. Well, you miss the vision. Maybe they want to. Anyway, let me say this: you are still getting me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Now, when you say initiator. What does that mean? It means you are the creator. It means you are the founder. Now, you see, these are two terms that are kind of relative terms here. So if you say you are an initiator, meaning you are a founder. And if you say you are a founder, you are an initiator. So, dodgy founder to say initiator, you are saying you are a founder. And from the onset, I'm not saying that this foundership should not be applicable to him. That's what I'm saying now. But hey, judge now, hey, judge. But I'm saying that it should be well defined properly. You know, I say, I just want to make it clear to everybody that where founder and initiator are the same thing. So, but from the onset, we all agreed without dispute. There was no objection where there shall be no single founder. Everybody is a founder. Everybody in the video, everybody has naturally matter is a founder. So, what is now you have to understand the word, the two words, founder and initiator, that they are the same thing. What I'm saying here, that it's like, for example, when we say we all founded GBO, it means that we all initiated GBO. That's the point I'm trying to raise here. We have a bit of it. The
original people don't swear. No, because there are some of us that came late. So Madam Okao, you were one of the people over here, the original founders, one of the original founders. Where are you?
I don't know anywhere. Now, you only Otanyaka Walon, you only famous. Is a time where the ex-president, we've done it here, always go against the law.
And a president is always a president. You are an ex-president, you will always remain a president. Exactly. The nomenclature can never be changed. Every day.
Okay, I mean, I believe that. I have a say, I will not hear okay, my me personally, I have been here right from day one. You can marry women, marry if you know the man area. The man area, after the first time anyway. Any other time away from the letter that women are know. The thing is that where let's call the state a state. So they are a position and they're not going to pass the so when the idea you have the start then you dead anything. Then the idea when my wrote to not that you are there. Yes, well, although there in a legal way or not, so where another time is the initiator of GBO. That is a make do a deba. Where you pay the initiator where a deba. But a is the person, the originator of this organization GBO. That where Amagi Keke law or Amagi Keke when not doing your law, when not go by what is the originator of this GBO your way or tonight, they will look at the deba. And I want to only I can understand. Or so and where a law man have I can understand. Then really idea whether law side or we have come in agreement. Agreement to me, I cannot remember the day we have come to agreement to where we have GBO yes, I can remember something where the letter of a meeting where a GBO is for everybody. That is, the EC is the one of give order to everything you wanna. You wanna call a GBO of Mayano, GBO of Mayano. may ora for time. But some one the father why define it. That was define it not very well now. Fine, no problem. But before man the why define it where a GBO in I found out raw in a GBO in Miami, may now today. Nevertheless, even when I was the president, my Guatemala, Mayawa will discuss a big issue where they are not getting my very so far now. Now they are Guatemala initiator now. We are going to attack, we are going to initiator now, the global Cotona, the Nana Yaket. Then they are no. The one is that you are not a procedure where first. You are the initiator, fine. We agreed on it where you are the initiator. Where anytime Maria a constitutional review will seek for that. Edi Miami and any boy there. One another. Edi Miami and any boy. That way, where a law or masquerade law may not bring you on your way or a founder for each purpose. I can understand that. I don't want to say. So, then my eye on a dinner now. On my son, we have to give you nothing but money one of my young girl of one arrow. Almost all when yes, and I mean, my other people for where a man of my honor. So, I'm winning. That way, they are going to radio. I can understand where they are going to radio. That's all who are all winning. Almost I'm winning. Okay, one can also that day. One of the nana. So, on a record in the I see him going and a buna.
Okay, I hear Mr. Egbo, you raise your hand up. I will ask you to wait first because you're fairly new. I just wanted to get the genesis of this organization. Then we'll come back to you. And Manove Areva, Mr. Hilo, were you with the organization from the very beginning?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry?
Go on.
All right. I was invited to the organization, and it wasn't started yet, So, though all the meetings that follows during the formation of this association, I wasn't really active at all, So, I don't really know much about who is the origin or originator of this thing. But what I would like to say is that originator of any association, even just as Famous rightly said, most things he said is what I actually had in mind. Even Nigeria as a country, it was somebody's initiative that started that country. And, people fought for it. Even those people, they have it in history that, okay, these are the people who started the initiation to start looking for Nigeria. But they are not putting it by the side of their name. You understand? And from what I can understand, it's like Ogema wants to be assigned as a title, which I don't understand. I've never heard that before anywhere. You see? So, just as everybody has been saying, it's true that Ogema has been working very hard, and we know what role he has played in this association right from the beginning. And if there is a book to be written about this GBO, this place will be there. How the whole thing, the story of how the whole thing started will be there. But putting it, assigning it to his name, or now looking as if it's like a kind of must that this title will be there, is what I cannot understand, because I never heard this kind of a thing before. I honestly have never heard where this kind of a thing is happening, where, you have to write the title or what happened before an association was formed. Then it that if it's initiator, they have to put it initiator of single person initiator. I mean, it's just like we are wasting time debating on irrelevant things. This is just for me. It's just too funny. I don't know what is this.
That is very fast. Very funny.
It's funny.
let one person speak at a time. Mr. Victor, you were also one of the pioneers.
Yes. The issue I stated, for me, it's a matter of maybe it's a matter of recognition. If it goes beyond recognition, for you to lay claim to an organization, I think it's rather very ridiculous. An organization such as GBO. If you go to Article 2 of our Constitution, it was stated there that the organization is, it's stated clearly, there is no founder, it's a collectivity of certain persons that came together. It established the organization. And again, yes, every organization has let's say, somebody started it, somebody that had a dream. But the moment a conglomeration of persons coming together, with an aim of establishing such a body legally, then one person cannot legally create such an organization. So, for me, we had a series of problems, discussions sometime last year or last year, when the ex-president, our first president, Engineer Iguluso, and also that we were having, counter accusations and, discussions about this stuff. Like what Engineer Iguluso, Engineer Agadaye said, when that issue was raised, I was even the one that said there is no way, whenever you talk about the history of GBO, that the name of Ogeba will never be remembered. In the annals of history of GBO, Ogeba's name will always be remembered as somebody that had a dream. But along the line, when there was incessant, clamoring of founder, initiator, the dreamer or visionary or whatever, it became very worrisome. Anyway, even myself and Ogeba, we had a bout of argument last year, before the Italian conference.
Okay.
Yes, a lot, because he came up with a book, which was the Founder's Right. That was how he titled that book, Founder's Right. He laid down about 8 to 10 rights where that will be accredited to the founder. I told him, look, I for one, I will not agree to these things, because more or less, this organization has been formed. It has been formed and registered with several names. For you to come up with these rights to be incorporated into the Constitution, for me, it's very, very, very funny. How can you come for an association that has evolved to this extent? Then you come up with rights such as, I think if I could remember, there were 8 or thereabouts, that you have some rights for whoever should be admitted into the organization. You can fire anybody from the organization, that you must be a signatory to the accounts. I think a lot of the rights were all stated out there. So we fell at loggerheads. I told him, no, this cannot happen. I will never agree. Yes, you are my friend, but I will never ever agree with you on this. This is a collective effort. If we cannot move together as a group, and you are trying to say, well, you funded the organization, therefore you have this, you want this right to be accredited to yourself, I will not agree with you. So at the end of the day, we had a lot of loggerheads as at last year. It was very intense. A lot of people didn't know anyway. So the matter died down. I think he was no longer using such terminologies after we came back from the conference. But all of a sudden this year, it all started again. Well, my take is that when GBO started, Ogeba
had the idea. Then it wasn't GBO, it was GBM. In that GBM, there were a series of problems that happened. It was also pertaining, to this issue of who owns the organization. That ultimately caused the disintegration of GBM. When GBM disintegrated, it now evolved to GBO and GBD. I could also remember the ex-president formed a 3-man committee to resolve that issue. But a quick resolution could not come. So everything went apart and GBO came to life. When GBO came to life, a name was suggested, names were suggested, and Engineer Aragaye suggested GBO, which was generally adopted, which is the name of the organization as of now. So there was no time in the history of this organization where we agreed that one person will be seen as the initiator, the founder of this organization.
Okay.
We have never ever agreed on that, because the only thing is, we were saying, what I said is that in the annals of history of GBO, the name of Ogeba can never be excluded as at least the foremost pioneer of this organization, which of course is an accolade that will be ascribed to him. I stood on that. But the incessant, notifications or declarations that I am the initiator, I am the founder, I think sometimes it's unknown to certain persons. If we are to go by the game of an association, for one person to say, I own this association, that is already a coup d'etat. In an association of this kind, where there are several trustees, several people, I mean, it doesn't work that way. But if you are saying, well, I need recognition, a form of accolade that, I am the creator. So, of course, when the history of the organization is being narrated, you are going to be given that even other efforts can go to that effect. But for such a title to be ascribed to your name, I don't understand. And again, the association, for example, we are an executive, we have a constitution. No member can go no member can hold a particular office more than 2 terms, or 2 tenures, I'm sorry. So, if tomorrow, for example, you have exhausted all your official capacity in GBO, and probably you are no longer in the executive or in the rings of the health of affairs. So how will you come
I'm going to mute everybody except the only person that is speaking. So I will mute you, and you will then, Victor, since you are still speaking, then you will be the only one speaking, Yes. Victor, can you? Okay. Right, if you can just unmute yourself and continue. Victor.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so for one person to come and say, I own this organization, it's something that will cause disintegration, number one. It is going to bring lack of confidence in the organization. And number two, it's going to bring up rancor. So, incessant reputation of I am the founder, I am the owner, I am the initiator. It's something that for me, I see it as something that will be used to cause disagreements amongst us, because it's uncalled for. It's not important for us to say we are the founder or that or that. If everybody is to go by that, then everybody can come into the organization and start pulling up their parts. After all, I have something I have contributed, you have something you have contributed, the other one has something they have contributed. If we all now ascribe claims to what we have all contributed, GBO is going to fall apart. So it is no use for us to continue to say we are the initiator, we are the founder or whatever. That should be left for the archives. It should be left for the history books. It is not supposed to be repeated or declared every now and then in the meetings or in the forum. For me, it's uncalled for.
All right, thank you. Thank you. I think you've made your point. Madam Okao, you are raising your hand. Go on, madam.
What fear Nana Boatie, GBO, famous is here. I don't mean GBO. It was because GBA would have continued with GBA. It was because Nini, I did say Nana register. Iana Nini, Iamakwe, na register with GBA. Famous is here if I'm lying. Because of that. Now, the secretary now brings it to the platform where now God everybody suggested names. Different name was suggested. Are you hearing me now? They, all of Radiaye, we are going to pick the one of Radiaye, they will not go with that. So,
okay.
that is how that name came about. And if Radiaye now says, there be origin. They now add S to it, their belief origin. Why are they a origin? So okay. I'm not saying where because the one not genuine as Yami, I don't you want to have more family Paragaya fine. Every man says just say Nini. There, this is how the name came out. Because Nini we are not able to register that GBA. And I don't buy any and never have any like the different name was nominated, then that of a part and I choose on anyway.
I think madam, almost the same thing was very famous today anyway. But the person before I come to you, Victor, what our brother Kawat Yubo would out, you know when the Maya the original the promoters of the organization here Kagwan, so that we have a good background. Mr. Egmont, you raised your hand earlier on. Mr. Egmont, Yereba. Okay, it's not there anymore. Go on.
I just have 2 questions to ask. The question is this. Now, before GBO came aboard, we have been told that it was formerly GBM. Now, the question I want to ask is, when that GBM was being formed, who called other persons together to say let us form this association?
Correct.
That was the first question. So if I can get an answer on that, I'll continue from there. Thank you.
Anybody wants to answer that question very briefly?
Yes, sir. The same question Mr. Egbo. Tally with the same question and response to the same question. My whole question is there is never a time with Mr. Ogubaya anything group at WhatsApp. The first ever time the Mr. Ogubaya group was the GBA stand. During the time Imanso opened the group and we all came in. Then Ogeba was the supplier with him and all that. They were working together. But there was never a time when Mr. Ogeba actually WhatsApp. The first WhatsApp that came as a group or a GBM. From that GBM, that is now, I'm not going to answer my Mr. Egbo.
No, GBA, no GBO.
From that GBM, from that GBM, I want to answer Mr. Egbo's question. From that GBM, a one shift. I am one of the members. Mr. Chief Jinegbilosu to put me among the 3-man committee out of about 200 something people on the group to settle this issue. He might find out the matter that Mr. Imaswen was somewhere near Bego Giver. Because we asked him to Bego Giver, being the senior man to Mr. Imaswen. first. Then Mr. Ogeba will now welcome him. They will continue. But along the line, the GBN cannot be registered because a movement in Oro, where I had to register with M. Also, they give Mr. Masona Akewe. So, starting with your question, that is how the group got divided. Some of us were still remaining in that GBN platform, while some already divided to GBD, while some divided to GBO. GBO has never started with anything name. We have to sit down here, and another form name in okay, so, like the question you asked, it was not one person that asked us, okay, let us pack down here. So they all pack to one place, then they automatically form up this GBO VT. So we all together before all this name now came up with GBD, GBO. All of us were together.
Okay. Well, wait a now. If a point has already been made, there's no point repeating it over and over again because okay, I'll say the meeting time. There's a little child in the background. If you know it belongs to, it's coming from you now. Unmute yourself so that when you want to talk, then you can unmute yourself. Mute yourself, please. Right. Junior Rajaye, your turn. Engineer, your turn.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know you muted me. Okay. You see, I want to react to what Madam Meg said. You see, I was in the GBM already. Now, it is not that after GBD left, we now move on with GBM. No. Before GBM left, first, the dissolution, the quarrel was already there, unsettled, and then GBM couldn't be registered ever before they left. That is there was already an established fact that GBM could not be registered alongside that dispute. Then it was not after it was declared unregistrable before GBM left. It was after they had declared it or not